Pretty quick this morning. Good morning. Good morning. That worked quicker than it usually does. We're right on. We're right on there. Good morning and welcome to another episode of PB Reads the Bible. And I'm PB. I'm Pastor Brian, pastor here at Christ United Methodist Church in Waynesboro, PA. And this is our small group where I read from the Bible, you follow along or just listen. And then I share some commentaries, some comments, and I answer questions and receive your comments as well. And this is a wonderful opportunity for us to join together in this fashion. And I'm truly humbled that you continue to join in. So thank you for that. We are a small group. So what we do is we share life together. That's how I say that. Please let us know what's on your hearts and minds this morning, what's weighing you down, what's lifting you up, putting the wind beneath your wings. Don't like that song, but you get the point. And what we should be in prayer about with each other this day and this week. First thing you should do, I would ask you to do, is to greet each other. Let me know you're there. This is Romper Room Roll Call, someone said. We've already got some folks doing that too. Good morning, Marcia. Good to be together this morning, is it not? That's wonderful. It is indeed. Now, I know some folks aren't able to join live. I say morning because for me, it's Thursday, September 14th, and it's 9:02 a.m. because I've been talking for a little while now. But for some of you, it's later this morning or sometime this afternoon, this evening. For some of you, it's 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. Please still chime in. Still let us know that you have joined the group, even if it's at a time when no one else is on or in the group. And also continue to share questions and comments. Please know if you're sending me a text or putting a comment out there at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to get to you right away. I did say text because you can also do those greetings and comments and questions through texting. 570-351-1619. Good morning, Maryland. Present. All right, I'll mark you off. I'm not really doing that. I don't really mark off. We don't keep attendance. It's just a great way for us to know who we're communicating with today. Excuse me. Sip of my London Fog tea latte. Good stuff. This is really good stuff that we're able to do this together. So we're going to pray. Then I'll have some announcements, just a couple things, and then we'll jump into our reading for today. And we are working our way through 1 Kings, and we are on chapter 15 this morning. So let's have a prayer. Gracious God, giver of every good gift, the greatest of your gifts is your son Jesus, and the presence, the real presence we have with him, with you through the Holy Spirit, a presence that goes beyond bounds of time and place. So regardless of where we are this morning or when we are gathering together for this small group, we know you are with us. We thank you for that. Oh, fill us with your presence. Calm our hearts and our minds that we may be present in this small group and receive what you have for us today. I lift to you all the things that are on everyone's hearts and minds. We give you praise for all the ways we have seen you in our lives and the joy that we have experienced. And we also lift before you our concerns today, some of which are for us personally, others are for family or for friends or distant relatives, the nation, the world. You can read our hearts and you know what's there. We lift these things in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right, friends. Ooh, good stuff. All right, so we're going to move into chapter 15. First, I did say I was going to talk about announcements, didn't I? Yes. All right, well, today is Thursday for me, anyway, and it is the last episode for this week. We will be back next week. And before I say anything, I just better bring up my calendar to double check here. Wrong button. Here we are. Yes, I'm good. It looks like I'm good so far. So far, looks like I'm good for both Tuesday and Thursday next week, the 19th and the 21st. So that's awesome stuff. That's awesome stuff. We'll be able to get our full week in. So that'll be good. That'll be good. Between now and Tuesday, of course, is Sunday. Sunday comes between Thursday and Tuesday, and we will be having worship. We will have in-person worship at 8:15 and 10:45, which you would be more than welcome to join us for either of those, in person at 8:15 or 10:45. However, if you're not feeling well, if you're not comfortable being in a group, if you're too far away, if you're just unable to get out, hey, we get it. That's why we offer the 10:45 as a live stream also. So the 10:45 worship is live streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. Please join us that way if the in-person doesn't work for you. We are continuing our series, Come to the Table. This week is Come to the Table of Peace. Come to the Table of Peace. We'll see what the scriptures have to say about that. And we got a couple more weeks on this series because it ends on October 1st, which is World Communion Sunday. World Communion Sunday. Good stuff there for sure. Then we've got our stewardship series. Then we have a worship series based around the book To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a series called Faith of a Mockingbird, and we'll see what's going to happen there. And then, believe it or not, we're going to be into Advent, my friends. Whew. Wow. We'll be into Advent, and we have a worship series that we're creating here called Journey to Bethlehem, Advent in the Psalms. Advent in the Psalms, Psalms. We're going to be looking at a few different Psalms, Psalters, as well as other scriptures, I'm sure. We'll probably also have some readings from the Gospels to tie them together. But seeing Advent as a journey to Bethlehem and getting there through those readings. Awesome stuff. I think it's awesome stuff anyway. So look forward to that information as it's coming forward. We'll have videos and all that kind of stuff taking place. We're working on those. Anyway, my friends, that's enough announcements. We're going to get to the scripture. I know I said a couple episodes ago, now that we're past Solomon, past the United Kingdom, we're into a divided kingdom of Israel. We have Israel to the north and Judah to the south. The story is going to be going back and forth, more or less, talking about one or more kings from the north, and then going to the south and talking about one or more kings from the south. It's kind of going to be doing that, going back and forth. As it does so, it will be referring to kings from the other kingdom. And since there's not a perfect overlap, meaning a king of Judah and the comparable king of Israel, their reigns don't match up perfectly, right? They don't match up perfectly. All right. It's not like King Bob from Judah and King Joe from Israel both reigned 5 years, began on the same day, ended on the same day. We're going to see overlap. And so we'll end up seeing that there might be 2 or 3 or 4 kings in the north, while there was only one king in the south. Okay, or vice versa. Usually it's the first case. All right, so we're going to see that happening. What that means is our story is going to be going sort of forward and backward in time. So that can be very tricky. Trying to remember about various kings and what time period am I looking at. It's not essential to know that, okay? It's not essential to know that. I will say this, okay? Especially for like the last couple readings and for today and probably the next couple readings, we're in the 10th century BCE. Okay, so we're in the 900s BCE, or BC if you prefer. BCE means before the Common Era. So 900 and some years before Christ, we would say, before the Common Era. In fact, Rehoboam, who we spoke about, this is like the only time when the two kings started at the same time was 922 BCE. We have Jeroboam in the north and Rehoboam in the south. And Jeroboam in the north, Rehoboam in the south is 922 BC. They don't reign the same amount of time. In fact, Rehoboam from Judah only reigns about 7 years, while Jeroboam the first, I should say, too, Jeroboam the first reigns for 20 couple years, all right, like 21 years in the north. So it's just to give you an idea of where we're at in time, It is going to be moving forward from there, but like I said, some of the times in the readings we're going to be moving forward and backward, so we're not going to get tied up in that too much. Rather than thinking about the year, sometimes it's better to think about who's reigning, who's the king. And I think that's why the authors and the editor do that. They're constantly referring, while this one was king in Israel, this happened in Judah, and a new king came to power. Okay, so chapter 15. Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abijam began to reign over Judah. Pause. So right off the bat, we see this, right? In the 18th year of Jeroboam. So while Jeroboam while Jeroboam is reigning in Israel, Judah has a new king, Abijam, or Abijah, if you prefer. Continuing, he reigned for 3 years in Jerusalem, not long at all. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. He committed all the sins that his father did before him. His heart was not true to Yahweh his God, like the heart of his father David. Nevertheless, for David's sake, Yahweh, his God, gave him a lamp in Jerusalem, setting up his son after him, and establishing Jerusalem. Because David did what was right in the sight of Yahweh, and did not turn aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. The war begun between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continued all the days of his life. The rest of the acts of Abijam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? There was war between Abijam and Jeroboam. Abijam slept with his ancestors, and they buried him in the city of David. Then his son Asa succeeded him. Pause. So, and I think the years are a little bit wrong on that. Yeah. Oh, this book has Abijam on the wrong side. That's funny. All right. So, excuse me. So Abijam, Jeroboam's still in power in Israel. Abijam has reigned in the south only about 3 years. Only about 3 years. Don't get too tied up on the numbers, though, because sometimes the numbers don't make sense. This says, right at the beginning, it says that it's in the 18th year. That's in the 18th year of Jeroboam. But we're also told that Rehoboam died earlier than that. So something's a little off. something's off. And if he did reign, if he did begin reigning in the 18th year, then Jeroboam and he would have died at the same time. So, which it goes on to say that he didn't. So the numbers aren't perfect. The math doesn't always add up correctly. It's just the fact of who's in power in the various places. And we're told that in spite of his sins, the fact that he was still disobeying God and was worshiping false gods, did all the sins of his father, Rehoboam. In spite of all of that, but because of David, this Deuteronomistic editor wants to make it sure, wants it quite evident that he sees David as the paradigm for a just ruler, for a good ruler, for a good man, for a faithful follower of Yahweh. And because of David's faithfulness, because of his never turning aside from God, except for that one case of Uriah the Hittite. He admits that David failed, but only once and then returned, we might say. It's because of David that a lamp has been established in Jerusalem. That would be a scion, a son, someone to reign in his place who is still part of his family. Excuse me, like a light of hope. Almost a light of hope through that. All right. But the war that was begun under Rehoboam and Jeroboam continues for the 3 years that Abijam is in power. NRSV says Abijam. The NIV says Abijah. You might also have a footnote saying that many old texts, or at least some old texts, say Abijam. So it's one or the other. Pick a name. Then his son Asa succeeded him. Now, just keep that in mind because it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right that he's his son. So continuing. In the 20th year of King Jeroboam of Israel, Asa began to reign over Judah. He reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Ma'akah, daughter of Abishalom. Pause. If you look back in verse 2, we're told that Abijam's mother's name was Ma'akah, daughter of Abishalom. They have the same mother. So that means one of two things, or one of three things. Most likely one of two. Either Abishalom had an incestuous relationship with his own mother to give birth to Asa, or they're actually brothers, not father and son. But he's considered to be his son. Does that make sense? Because Abijam, being the oldest of the sons, when the father died, would have become responsible for his brothers, especially if he was much younger, and therefore would be his son. That kind of makes more sense. Oh, good morning, Bonnie. The only other way to say it is that she wasn't actually, that Ma'akah wasn't actually Asa's mother, but was just referred to as his mother because she treated him that way, or because since she was Abijam's mother, she was given special honor and was considered to be his mother. That maybe is the least the least favored explanation for that, but something like that. The idea of Abijam having this incest does not make sense, because quite honestly, he was still alive in order to Asa to be old enough to to be taking place. Oh, looks like I'm having a little trouble with internet, so I might be cutting in and out on you a little bit. If that happens too much and becomes too much of a problem for you, when it turns into a recording later, it should be better. It should be better, especially on YouTube. Sorry about that. I can't control the internet. All right. So, oh no, you know what? I misread it. I apologize. I misread that. Maaka is his grandmother. That is very strange that they mentioned him okay, forget everything I just said, except for the last one. It's actually his grandmother. Okay. Whew. Never mind on all of that. Let me reread this passage starting at verse 9. Oh, okay, I see. So the NIV does translate it as grandmother, but the NRSV says mother. So I'm not sure. I don't see any footnotes on either of them. Apparently, the word can be translated either as mother or grandmother. I'm finding out here. And the NIV chooses to translate it as grandmother rather than mother. Interesting. Very good. All right. There we are. See, this is why we do this. We're all able to learn something. We're all able to learn something. So I'm going to restart. Verse 9, in the 20th year of King Jeroboam of Israel, Asa began to reign over Judah. He reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. His mother or grandmother was named Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. Asa did what was right in the sight of Yahweh, as his father David had done. He put away the male temple prostitutes out of the land and removed all the idols that his ancestor had made. He also removed his mother or grandmother, Maacah, from being queen mother because she had made an abominable image for Asherah. Asa cut down her image and burned it at the Wadi Kidron, but the high places were not taken away. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was true to Yahweh all his days. He brought into the house of Yahweh the votive gifts of his father and his own votive gifts, silver, gold, and utensils. There was war between Asa and King Baasha of Israel all their days. King Baasha of Israel went up against Judah and built Ramah to prevent anyone from going out or coming in to King Asa of Judah. Pause. We're going to get to Baasha in a bit. Remember, this is overlap. Asa is king for 41 years. During that time, I think there's going to be 6 different kings in the northern kingdom of Israel. So we're going to be hearing about a couple of them now. Then we'll hear about them a little bit more when we get to when the story moves back to the north. Also, I should have said it earlier. So he's done some good things. He's a reformer, we might say. He's done some things to reform Israel, especially with relationship to God and to worship. He's cut down some images and burned them. He's gotten rid of the male prostitutes at the temple cults of the various places. He has left the high places in place. So he's gone this far, but not this far in what he's done. And we're seeing that he's given stuff to the temple, votive gifts from himself and on behalf of his father. Silver, gold, and utensils. Keep that in mind. But now we've got this war with him and Baasha, and Baasha is building up the city of Ramah. And what this is to prevent people from coming to Asa's aid. He's trying to block them out. Picking up there at 18. Then Asa took all the silver and the gold that were left in the treasures of the house of Yahweh and the treasures of the king house, and gave them into the hands of his servants. King Asa sent them to King Ben-Hadad, son of Tabriman, son of Hezion of Aram, who resided in Damascus, saying, let there be an alliance between me and you, like that between my father and your father. I am sending you a present of silver and gold. Go, break your alliance with King Baasha of Israel, so that he may withdraw from me. Pause. So as good as Asa has been, he's not perfect. I think the author and editor are trying to remind us, even though they really haven't said anything about David at this point, they're showing us he's better than Rehoboam was, and possibly even better than Solomon was, but he's not like David. Yes, he took gifts from himself and on behalf of his father and gave them to the temple, but now what are we seeing he's done? He's taken back. It sounds like he's not that he's taken back those gifts. He's also taken all the gold and silver that were in the storehouse in the temple, like everything, whatever was left. Remember, King Shishak from Egypt came and ransacked the temple and took most of the good stuff, leaving behind the silver and some of the other things. So now we see him taking whatever's left and doing what with it? Using it to buy off a king, to buy a king, to buy the Arameans as an army to come and help him, to join in an alliance with me, and to get him to break an alliance that the guy already had with King Baasha. So he's good, but he's not great, and he's still trusting he's trusting in humans. He's trusting in army and military might rather than in Yahweh. Picking up from there, verse 20, Ben-Hadad listened to King Asa and sent the commanders of his armies against the cities of Israel, the northern kingdom. He conquered Ijon, Dan, Abel Beth-Maacah, and all Chinneroth, with all the land of Naphtali. When Baasha heard of it, he stopped building Ramah and lived in Tirzah. Then King Asa made a proclamation to all of Judah. None was exempt. They carried away the stones of Ramah and its timber, with which Baasha had been building. With them, King Asa built Geba of Benjamin and Mitzpah. Now the rest of all the acts of Asa, all his power, all that he did, and the cities that he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? But in his old age, he was diseased in his feet. Then Asa slept with his ancestors and was buried with his ancestors in the city of his father David. His son Jehoshaphat succeeded him. Pause. So that kind of sums everything up real quickly. So it worked. He sent those gifts to the Aramean king, and the Aramean king agrees to break his alliance with Baasha and go to war with Baasha on behalf of Asa. And he attacks several cities in Israel and takes them over, and Baasha withdraws from Ramah, which apparently is pretty close to Judah, or might even be in Judah. I'm not 100% certain on that, but withdrew from there to kind of lick his wounds. Asa has his people, everyone So basically forced labor has everyone tear down Ramah and cart all of that wood and stone to build a couple other places, to build a couple other cities. And notice at least one of those places is in Benjamin, built Geba of Benjamin and Mitzpah. So perhaps as a way to curry favor with the Benjaminites. Remember, the Benjaminites are kind of on their own. They're like loosely associated with Judah, but they might also be willing to be loosely associated with Israel. They're usually on their own. They're the 12th fabric, 12th piece of the cape, the cloak that the prophet tore up that never really accounted for anyone. And then Asa slept. So everything else is wrapped up. Again, he reigned for 41 years. We don't know anything. Now, it says he was diseased in his feet. Obviously, that could mean anything. That could virtually mean anything. And we don't know what kind of disease they might be talking about. Was it neuropathy? Was it some form of gangrene? Was it really his feet? Because feet was a euphemism for male genitalia. So did he have something else going on, almost like some form of venereal disease that might have killed him? We don't know. But he died. He died, and everything else that he did is written in the book of the Annals of the King of Judah, right? Well, I guess so. We don't know because that book does not exist anymore. He slept, and his son Jehoshaphat succeeded him. We're not going to talk about Jehoshaphat, though, because the authors, the editor, now turn their attention back to Israel. Because Asa's been reigning so long, we have to get caught up on who's the king in the north. We're going to get caught up on the king in the north. Jeroboam was king even at the beginning of Asa's rule, first couple of years of Asa's rule. Now he's dead. Nadab, son of Jeroboam, began to reign over Israel in the second year of King Asa of Judah. He reigned over Israel 2 years. He did what was evil in the sight of Yahweh, walking in the way of his ancestor and in the sin that he caused Israel to commit. Baasha, son of Ahijah of the house of Issachar, conspired against him. And Baasha struck him down at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines, for Nadab and all Israel were laying siege to Gibbethon. So Baasha killed Nadab in the 3rd year of King Asa of Judah and succeeded him. As soon as he was king, he killed all the house of Jeroboam. He left to the house of Jeroboam not one that breathed until he had destroyed it, according to the word of Yahweh that he spoke by his servant Ahijah the Shilonite, because of the sins of Jeroboam that he committed and that he caused Israel to commit, and because of the anger to which he provoked Yahweh, the God of Israel. Pause. So Jeroboam's dynasty does not last. Jeroboam reigns for 21 years, and then he has his son Ahijah, who reigned for 2 years. So his dynasty is only about 23 years long. And now there's basically a coup, you would say, that this Baasha, son of Ahijah. Now, Ahijah must have been a fairly common name because we've already heard it several times. This is not related. This is not any of the Ahijahs we've spoken of, at least not recently, right? Of the house of Issachar. So it's not Ahijah, the son of Jeroboam, nor is he Ahijah, the son of Rehoboam. He is an outsider. Complete coup, kills him, claims the crown himself, and kills off any of the male descendants of Jeroboam, just to make sure. And that is what the prophecy from from Ahijah the Shilonite. Again, not the Ahijah that was Baasha's father. All right. Whew. Now, the rest of the acts of Nadab and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the king of Israel? There was war between King Asa and King Baasha of Israel all their days. All their days. In the 3rd year of King Asa of Judah, Baasha, son of Ahijah, began to reign over all Israel at Tirzah. He reigned 24 years. Substantial. He did what was evil in the sight of Yahweh, walking in the way of Jeroboam and in the sin that he caused Israel to commit. Pause. End of chapter. End of chapter. And that's where we will end. So he reigned for 24 years. We're going to notice that during Asa's 41 years, I think there are 6 kings in the north. Various amounts of time that each one is king, and yet they all get approximately the same amount of information. All of them get about the same amount of information. Very sparse, just a little piece. They're not spoken of by any great extent or to any great amount. All right. Well, my friends, that's it for today. That's it for today. I do pray that this has been beneficial, that you have learned something, relearned something, that God has spoken to you in some way as you go about your days, not just today, but every day. Keep those eyes and ears, physical and spiritual, open to everything that our living, loving, active God is doing in your life and in the lives of those around you. When you see it, when you hear it, say, thank you, God, and then do something about it and say something about it. Until we meet again, my friends.